Today, we're digging into one of the most overlooked pieces of your health, and that is your nervous system. We're going to talk about what it is, how it affects your hormones, how it's linked to symptoms like fatigue, anxiety, mood swings, and even weight gain, why nervous system dysregulation is oh so common, especially for busy, high achieving women, and what you can start doing today to support it. So let's dive in. Your nervous system essentially is your body's communication network. It includes your brain, your spinal cord, and a network of nerves. And this system sends messages back and forth between your brain and your body, regulating your thoughts, your memory, learning, feelings, and even movement. It determines if you are in fight or flight, which is also known as your sympathetic state, or rest and digest, also known as the parasympathetic state. Most women that I work with are operating in fight or flight, or they've had chronic stress for years that causes them to be in an unhealthy parasympathetic state. We actually see this quite often in an HTMA, also known as a hair tissue mineral analysis. That is a functional test that we do utilize with our clients. However, even before we were running HTMAs, I have seen this pattern for years of coaching women. And I know it well because it used to be me. More on that later. It's not our fault. It's how our culture conditions women. We are expected to do it all. We're told that we can have it all, always give to others, always striving, achieving, proving ourselves, being hyper independent, and never truly resting because that's viewed as lazy or unproductive. But here's the kicker, my friend. Your body cannot heal, cannot digest, cannot repair tissues, balance hormones, or support a healthy metabolism if you are stuck in fight or flight. And that chronic stress wrecks your hormones. I believe stress is one of the biggest reasons why we are seeing women younger and younger with hormone decline. So why is everybody suddenly talking about nervous system? I'm sure you've seen a lot of reels or videos online. I believe it's because women are finally realizing that healing is not just about what you eat. It's not just about the workouts that you do or the supplements that you take. At least I hope that's the case, because if you think that some test or supplement is going to quote unquote fix you, I'm sorry to break the news, but that is not the case. Your body needs to feel safe in order to heal. And that starts with your nervous system. When it's dysregulated, your hormones follow. So you've heard me say this probably a million times. Progesterone is the first hormone to drop in perimenopause or in your mid-30s. It's calming, it supports a healthy mood, good sleep, healthy periods. However, chronic stress depletes it even faster. And then we have estrogen. Estrogen becomes really erratic, typically in our 40s, because your ovaries are starting to slow down production. So your brain is shouting at them to keep making it. So you get these spikes and then these dips of estrogen. So it could fluctuate day to day. But again, when you have chronic stress, all of your symptoms of low or fluctuating estrogen are going to be compounded. Then there's your thyroid, and that sets the pace for your metabolism. And it's going to slow down when you are dealing with chronic stress. Your body essentially thinks that it is unsafe to burn energy, lose weight, ovulate, or do any of the things that you want it to do, because it really is just trying to keep you alive. This is why so many women feel anxious. They're tired but wired. They can't sleep at night. They gain weight even though they're doing everything right. If your nervous system isn't supported, your hormones can't do their job and you simply will not feel your best. So I want to talk about cortisol for a minute, because this is your primary stress hormone. I'm sure you've heard of it. You've probably seen people selling cortisol lowering supplements or cortisol testing. I can go on a whole rant about that, but I'll save that for another episode. When your nervous system is dysregulated, your cortisol is dysregulated as well. Here's the thing. I don't need a test to tell me that. I can tell by hearing your story, your symptoms, your energy level, your sleep struggles, your anxiety. It is all connected. So cortisol is meant to rise slowly in the morning, helping you feel alert, energetic, and ready for the day. It's not a bad thing. We need cortisol for survival. Then it should gradually decline in the afternoon as the sun starts to go down, eventually dropping at night so your body can fall asleep and stay asleep. Sounds good, right? But when you are stuck in fight or flight all day, when you have chronic stress, when you have this go, go, go mentality, you are a chronic people pleaser, you are constantly checking email, text, social media, you are never truly resting, your cortisol rhythm can become really dysregulated. Typically, it becomes dysregulated and then it could eventually flatten, which is actually quite dangerous. And this is where we see things like you're waking up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. You have anxiety or panic throughout the day. You're tired but wired at night and you can't fall asleep. You wake up in the middle of the night, say like 2 to 4 a.m. This can also be due to blood sugar dips, which is going to cause that cortisol to spike, as well as low estrogen. And then there's belly fat. A lot of us, myself included, have that belly fat that won't budge. That was actually one of the things that I started to notice probably when I turned 40. I was like, what is this? Where did this belly come from? Because I'm pretty small, and then I got like this belly. I believe, yes, perimenopause played a role in the hormone shift, but I also believe that it was because I was overdoing, overgiving, overfunctioning, living with chronic stress. So if you are wondering why your workouts aren't working for you, or why you feel exhausted but you can't sleep, it may be that your nervous system really is stuck in survival mode. So I want to give you an easy way to start to regulate your cortisol pattern. And that starts with your morning routine. So when you wake up in the morning, instead of reaching for your phone like so many of us do, I want you to get up and go outside. You don't have to go for some long walk or do anything crazy, but maybe you go out on your balcony or your patio, or you just go for a short walk or sit on your front stoops, whatever you have to do to get natural light in your eyes. I also want to encourage you to take some deep breaths to tune into your body and ease into your day instead of rushing, right? Which is what so many of us really are programmed to do, right? We're rushing, we're running around, we're trying to get things done. And I know it's difficult when you have kids and you're getting people out of the house and all that. You do the best you can, okay? Then I want you to minimize screen time, especially at night after the sun goes down. Our bodies are not meant to get all of this artificial light. So get outside as often as you can throughout the day, preferably without sunglasses to get that light in your eyes, and minimize technology and bright lights at night. In a nutshell, you want to follow the rhythm of the sun. It is that simple. Now, I do want to acknowledge the role that trauma plays in our nervous system. When we hear trauma, we often think of big dramatic events, but trauma can be anything that overwhelms your ability to cope. And if you grew up in a home that felt unpredictable, chaotic, or emotionally unsafe, like I did, your nervous system learned early on to stay on high alert. I lived in fight or flight for most of my life without even realizing it. I grew up with an alcoholic father who made me feel unsafe. There was a lot of arguing between him and my mom, a lot of unpredictability, financial struggles. We almost lost our home, so I always felt unsafe. And I became, quote unquote, the strong one in the family, the one who kept it together, the one who defended my mother and my sister from my dad. I didn't ask for help. I didn't cry. I just kept going because I identified as the strong one, right? Because a lot of times family members would tell me that. And that carried throughout my entire life. I could not break down. I could not show emotion. I had to be the strong one. I had to keep my shit together at all times. Well, you could imagine what that does over years and years and years, right? Not a good thing. It causes a lot of inflammation. It causes perfectionism. It causes a lack of vulnerability and willingness to receive and ask for help and ask for support. For a long time, it worked for me, and then it didn't. And perimenopause was a big ass wake up call for me because my hormones, my body took over. And that was when I was forced to slow the F down, to start to ask for support, to ask for help. Eventually, that constant state of stress caught up with me, okay? My body was screaming. I had anxiety, sleep issues, obviously hormone chaos, and what I believe was total burnout. And that was not the first time in my life that I burned out. I burned out in my 20s, okay? Because I was always somebody who overworked, overfunctioned. I was hyper independent because I thought that that's what I had to do. So it wasn't until I began some serious nervous system work, reconnecting with my body, learning how to slow down, giving myself permission to rest and feel safe, being open to receiving, especially from Mike, my partner, my best friend in this life, who is everything that my father wasn't and who I love so, so, so damn much, that things finally started to shift. I talked more about this on a previous episode. I'll link to it in the show notes, where I had my good friend Jennifer Ragazzo on. We talked a lot about trauma, how it resurfaces in midlife, and how to address it, and some of the things that I did, including an MDMA session. So if you want to learn more about that, I do strongly encourage you to go listen to that episode. If you feel like you are always on, like you can't rest, like you have to hold everything together, it may not just be your hormones or stress. It may be your nervous system still living in survival mode. The good news is that you can change this. You can heal. You can rewire your brain. Your body wants to come back into balance, but it just needs the right support, whatever that looks like for you. So when we work with clients, nervous system support isn't an afterthought. It's actually one of the first things that we focus on, because if we dive into diet, gut protocols, or even hormones like HRT before addressing your stress response, it's like trying to build a house on quicksand. We teach you how to slow down, how to eat and move your body to nourish it, not punish it, how to reduce overwhelm, support minerals, which play a huge role in your nervous system, and how to incorporate self-care without feeling guilty about it. That doesn't mean that you have to go meditate for an hour every day or quit your job. It's about simple shifts that help your body feel safe again, so that your hormones can do their job, your energy can return, and you can actually feel like you again. That said, if your job is causing you a lot of stress, it's time to assess if it's the right path for you. Or maybe your relationship is struggling. That needs to be addressed. I know how scary it is to look at these areas of your life and acknowledge how they may be negatively impacting your health. I get it. I've been there myself. I have done a lot of examining in the past few years. You cannot keep ignoring these major stressors in your life and think that you'll heal just by adjusting your macros, taking supplements, or even getting on HRT. Yes, those things help. And yes, we guide our clients with those things, but that should not be your only focus. Those things help and we utilize them, but ignoring the elephant in the room, whether it's a job that you hate, a relationship that's really struggling, resentment, pain that you've been feeling and carrying for years, it's not only going to delay your healing, but it can actually create more disease in the body. So I know I said a lot. I want to wrap this up with giving you some tangible steps to start to regulate your nervous system. The first one is, I want you to start breathing with purpose. Most of us have shallow breathing, or you may even catch yourself holding your breath. I know I used to do that all the time. So I want you to spend some time each day practicing deep breathing. Put one hand on your heart or somewhere on your chest, one hand on your belly. You want to inhale for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. And you could do this as many times as you need when you're feeling stressed or anxious. It essentially calms your body down and tells you that you are safe. The next thing is, I want you to create moments of stillness throughout your day. And I know how hard that is, especially if you are a woman who is busy, you're an overachiever, and you always need to be productive. I want you to sit in silence for 5 minutes with your eyes closed. Let your mind wander. Let whatever thoughts come up that need to come up. You're not doing nothing in that moment. You're actually rewiring your nervous system. So no grabbing your phone, no scrolling, no listening to music. Actually sit in silence. Our bodies crave this, especially in midlife. The next thing is, I want you to get comfortable asking for help, whether it's from your partner, kids, coworkers, friends, or a coach like myself. Stop carrying everything alone. That hyper-independence is a trauma response. It is not a badge of honor. We are not meant to do this life alone, especially with the changes in these hormones. They can really make us feel disconnected from ourselves, and having support is absolutely invaluable. The next thing is, I want you to set a boundary. Say no to something that drains you, whether it's scrolling Instagram, going into a Facebook group filled with women who are just complaining about their health, or saying no to a demand of your time. Stop volunteering for every damn thing. You can only do so much in a day. Your health truly does depend on it. And then the last thing is, I want you to come up with a mantra that you repeat daily. There's something called neuroplasticity. It is the brain's ability to change and adapt in response to new experiences. So a simple mantra can help improve neuroplasticity by promoting the formation of new neural connections in your brain. How cool is that? This can lead to improved cognitive function, increased creativity, and better emotional regulation. So one that I say to myself is, I am safe, I am provided for, I am loved. I am safe, I am provided for, and I am loved. That's very personal to me and some of the things that I have struggled with over the years. Maybe it will help you, but if not, create one that is personal to you, whatever it is that you're struggling with. If you don't feel safe, if you don't feel loved, if you don't feel heard, if you don't feel seen, flip the script, okay? Whatever you think, whatever you believe, your body is going to respond to. All right, I want to encourage you to rethink the idea of slowing down, that it's not lazy. It's actually quite powerful. Rest is a strategy, in my opinion. It's what allows your hormones to do their job, your gut to repair, your thyroid to function properly. When you keep pushing, your body pushes back with anxiety, sleep issues, mood swings, weight gain, and all the other life-altering symptoms that many women experience in this phase of life. It's not just your hormones. Your diet, your lifestyle, your mindset truly all matter. Hey, before you go, if you're resonating with this podcast and realize that your symptoms are anything but normal, my comprehensive program, the Perimenopause Method, may be a great fit for you. My team and I help women in their mid-30s to early 50s improve symptoms such as fatigue, disrupted sleep, anxiety, erratic moods, bloating, and much more. We do this by utilizing advanced testing, a personalized plan tailored to you, women's health and hormones education, and ongoing support so you never feel alone and you get results. If you're ready to commit to your health and feel like yourself again, but even better, check out the link in the show notes to learn more about the Perimenopause Method. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.